Now to Kogi State, where no fewer than 13 students of the Kogi State University, Ayingba, have been hacked down by unidentified persons suspected to be members of a secret cult. Eyewitnesses say the killing started last Friday when 9 students, including a 200-level female student and her boyfriend, were killed on the campus and at different points. Channel Television gathered that some of the victims were allegedly attacked on Stadium Road and Our Lady of Fatima's Lodge, where they were brutally murdered and their bodies dismembered by the assailants. They said it's a reprisal attack carried out by one of the cult groups, whose leader, a student of Kogi State Polytechnic, Lokoja, was murdered by another cult linked to the university. Authorities of the institution are yet to release any official statement on the incident. 3 siblings have been reportedly killed when a building collapsed in Akeze community in Ebonyi State. Eyewitnesses say that 3 kids and their mothers were sleeping when the building caved in. Sources say the mother of the deceased children had earlier made complaints to her husband about the deteriorating nature of the facility or the structure, but due to lack of money, nothing was done. The bodies of the deceased children have been taken to the morgue, while the mother and one of the survivors are still receiving treatment at a hospital. To the environment and agriculture in Jigawa State, farmers and fishermen there have raised an alarm over the threat caused by a type of grass, which they say has impeded the free flow of flowed water, causing their farmland to become waterlogged. Most of those affected are in Gudi local government, about 100 kilometers away from the state capital. In his reaction, the special advisor to the Jigawa State Governor on Community Development, Mr. Hamza Hadijia, insists there is a need for the federal government to intervene.
In the northeastern part of Jigawa State along the river Hadijia, which flows into Lake Chad, farming and fishing is hindered as typhus spreads through, taking the space. Guri local government area, about 100 kilometers away from the state capital Duse, is the worst hit. The people in this locality are mostly farmers who cultivate chili, onion and cotton. Aside battling with herdsmen over space, irrigation has become tough and in the rainy season.
To be honest with you, we are finding it very difficult to cultivate our farmland because of this grass. Some of the challenges we face include flooding during the rainy season, and the grass harbors pests that spread to our crops.
Our parents depended on this fishing to fend for our families. In a single day, we can get what we can sustain you for a week. But now, with the coming of this typha grass, we cannot survive as fishermen around this river.
The chairman of the Farmers Association of Nigeria in Jigawa State, Mayor Unguwa Jaga, proposes a solution to the problem.
What we need federal government to do for the farmers of Jigawa State, through Federal Ministry of Water Resource, to find the way to defeat this river from Tigadam to Wudil to Ringing to Hadeja up to Yobe. When they defeat this river, to flood all these tapa grasses, no any flood in Jigawa State.
Meanwhile, the special advisor to the Jigawa State Governor on Community Development, Mr. Hamzat Adejia, insists there is need for the federal government to intervene.
We are requesting the support or intervention from the federal government. The government of Jigawa State it is doing its best in doing machine work to embank where possible the machine can have easy access to do the work. Where the machine can get access to work, it will work. Where the machine cannot have the access to the work, so that we can mobilize the communities, give them all possible support and logistics to run the manual work in order to address this menace.
While the farmers and the fishermen continue their activities in tough conditions, they hope their source of livelihood is not lost with a further delay in intervention from the government.
To help, the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Mr. Faisal Shoaib, is attributing the recent yellow fever outbreaks in certain states to the rejection of vaccines by parents for their children and by some adults. Speaking to journalists on the sidelines of a meeting of the agency's technical support for states, Mr. Faisal Shaib insists that there are enough yellow fever vaccines in the country to prevent an outbreak. He also says, notwithstanding the attitude of some parents, the federal government is doing all it can to scale up vaccination campaigns in the affected states.
Although primary healthcare centers in Nigeria are supposed to provide basic healthcare services, including antenatal and postnatal services for women, as well as give vaccination against diseases, the lack of capacity in most of these centers has been a major challenge in achieving this objective. It is one of the reasons why the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency established the Technical Support Program a year ago to provide support to states and build their human resources. This meeting in Abuja is at the instance of the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to assess how the program has fared.
Following the TSP's rollout, the program has recorded tremendous success in both TA delivery to states as well as human resource development.
The Technical Support Program is indeed a laudable initiative of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency's leadership, aimed at strengthening the capacity of the agency to effectively deliver on its mandate. I want to use this opportunity to thank our partners for supporting us through this journey as we progress towards achieving universal health coverage.
The federal government in 2017 launched a campaign to revitalize 10,000 primary healthcare centers across the country. The idea was to bring quality primary healthcare services closer to the grassroots and prevent outbreak of diseases in rural communities. The objective of this campaign has not been fully realized. Disease outbreaks continue to ravage communities, including the recent cases of yellow fever, with trail of deaths in states including Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Katsina, and Kano states.
We do have adequate vaccines within the country for routine immunization. So part of the reason why we're having these outbreaks of yellow fever all across the country is because we've seen in the last few decades a situation where parents have not been taking their kids for routine immunization. Once you take the yellow fever vaccine, usually it should protect you against yellow fever all through your life.
Nigeria operates a three-tier healthcare system, which are the primary, secondary, and tertiary. Of these three levels of healthcare system, the primary healthcare is the weakest, even though healthcare experts say it's the most important level of healthcare service in any country.
When news across Nigeria returns, the Kwara State Governor sets up a committee to clear refuse on the streets of Ilorin, the state capital. Please stay with us.